Hi, this is Lada from Astrolada.com with your May 2017 horoscopes, and those horoscopes will be very special because they will cover not only May but the next year and a half. So you're getting a deep insight into the next year and a half, because I'm going to focus in the May videos on the change of signs of the North Node and South Node, or also I like to call them Rahu and Ketu. It's easier. They're changing signs from Leo into Aquarius from May 2017 till November 2018, which means our karma is changing, guys. The big lessons, Rahu and Ketu are the reasons we incarnate in this life. To learn lessons and to let go of things. To learn new things and to let go of old things. Ketu is letting go, Rahu is learning new things. So this is the North and South Node. And I'm going to teach you where you can progress throughout the next year and a half. Starting from May, because Rahu is where we can progress and get material results and use our willpower, and where you can get liberated and release old things. And if you follow this pattern, this is your recipe for success. So guys, I'm giving you a recipe for success for the next year and a half. And you can even go back to my October 2015 videos when I was talking about the previous change when Rahu and Ketu for the past year and a half, they've been in the two signs, Virgo and Pisces, and you can check them out for your sign and see how correct this was. And then you can listen to the May ones that will cover up to November 2018. Such an important big deal, honestly. The consciousness shifts, the karma, the lesson shifts in a big way. And we're going to see how this impacts each sign. And don't forget, May is also another good month because Mercury is turning direct. Planets, Venus is already direct, so the complicated tissues and intensity of April is starting to fade away. We'll pay attention to that as well. But just to remind you guys, May, from the middle of May, from the 14th, I'm starting a 6 months foundational astrology course, which is just $200. It's going to be 12 weeks. We're going to do that twice every month, basically. And it's going to be all about the 12 signs, all about areas we're starting. You can either get the full course for 50% discount, $200, so you can get a few, videos, maybe a few courses, all about Aries, all about Taurus, whichever sign you're interested about, which is just $29. But if you want to learn astrology from scratch, and if you want to know information that is not there, and I promise you again, I bring you for sources, esoteric, deep, ancient, modern. It's going to be my best course, basically. And if you want to really understand astrology in depth and start from the bottom, this is the course for you. So come and join me. Till May, it's still just half price, $200 for the whole course, or $29 for all about Aries. And thank you so much. Libra May 2017. So this month, guys, will be a lot about relationships, because Venus and Mercury will both be in Aries, your 7th house, for a big part of the month. And if Libra is here, you're Libra here, the opposite sign Aries is here. So we're going to have Venus direct and Mercury turning direct, also in Aries in your 7th house. So there is a lot, and Venus will be completing the final part of its retrograde movement. Basically, it's not going to be retrograde anymore. It's moving direct in your 7th house, but it's still going to be around in the degrees where it was previously when it was retrograde. So it's wrapping up this whole 2017 retrograde period, which is a whole process of reevaluating relationships, taking difficult decisions or life-changing decisions in regards to contracts, agreements, relationships, promises to others, business deals as well, negotiations, or marriages, commitments of any sort. This is 7th house. Because Venus starts to move direct over the last time over those degrees in your 7th house, it's almost like now you're finding resolutions to all those things. Things are normalizing in regards to all those matters, relationship, business, deals, and clients as well in the 7th house. The public, something to do with audience in the public, or something to do with finding again balance in the roles you play in your relationships, in the responsibilities, or normalizing, starting to normalize. Something maybe went quite different in your relationships that you had to review, to re-examine, or got complicated. And now, when in May everything starts coming back to its normal rhythm, and with relationships as well, and you're able to plan more easily when it comes to agreements, contracts, relationships with others, personal love relationships as well, and marriage relationships. You're able to communicate in a more normalized way again, because Mercury was retrograde first before that, in your 7th house. So maybe certain things had to be set out which were not said before, in regards to business partnership. Maybe someone sought you out, that your business partner with a partner relationship, someone from the past that came, and things had to be set out, spoken, released, or corrected in some way, in some kind of contracts as well, business deals, or with clients as well. And everything from this, especially the whole of May, starts normalizing, especially after the first week of May, when Mercury also turns direct in your 7th house. So maybe this contract that had to be delayed now can come back, or can be resumed, or can be expedited, or maybe this business partnership or promise, or maybe this relationship that was being re-examined, or that was being tested in some way, or that was being slowed down, or that was being taken deeper, because retrograde planets is about taking something deeper and examining it, and bearing it, so you come to a more balanced decision for the both sides. And even if it raised the temperature in the relationships to some extent, hopefully you were able to, to deal with that in a very Mercury and Venus way, which is more diplomatic, which is more rational way, and made the right choices. And especially in May, all those complications starts getting removed. And by the way, your source of help starts becoming other people. So reach out, communicate with other people in May. You can benefit through that. Also, be diplomatic with other people. Very artistic, creative, young people, attractive people can be around you in May as well. Venus rules attractive, beautiful. Mercury rules youthful, intelligent. Also, people that are in the public eye. The 7th house is your audience. So it kind of can make you more, being a Libra, have more people around you, have more social life, be more communicative in some sort. This is May bringing to you. And also see yourself through the eyes of others in some way. So yeah, definitely there is more easier energy starting to come to you from relationships and from others, and from all 7th house activities anyway. So now let's go to the most important thing that I promise that you can go over for the next year and a half. Rahu and Ketu changing signs. The south, the north and south node of the moon, the reasons why we incarnate, the ones that bring us the biggest progress in life is Rahu. And whenever it changes signs for a year and a half, it stays in a different house of yours. So if you happen to have Libra ascendant especially, to a lesser degree Libra sun, Libra moon as well, but you will feel that as well, because both ascendant, sun and moon can be taken as the start of the horoscope. Rahu is moving into 11th house and Ketu into your 5th house. And wherever Rahu is, this is where we become extremely passionate, because Rahu is this dragon without a body. He's just a dragon's head that just eats and wants more, and it's insatiable. And when there's no body, it never feels the hunger satiated. So it awakens our passions and desires. That's why the Eastern cultures don't like Rahu, don't like the North Node. Ancient Indian culture, for example, says it's a great malefic, but we Western society in the last 2,000 years, astrology said it's a great planet because it awakens your desire, nature, and your hunger. And what do you do when your hunger is awakened? You go and do things. So you go and develop materially in a physical way. You strive after something. You become, very ambitious in regards to that house. So you develop it in material, tangible way. But the Eastern cultures didn't like that our passions are awakened, because it removes our peace of mind in regards to that area of life. It can create more chaos there, because we want to break the status quo. We want to, to go out of the ordinary frames of behavior, so we can investigate new territories. Rahu is about jumping into new territories and discovering new things, and ancient cultures were traditional. That was going against the grain of preserving the traditions, you know, if you want to do new things. But we love it in the Western society, and nowadays even Eastern cultures are westernized. So Rahu tends to bring benefits and gains and growth in a material way by first introducing chaos into the house it is in, introducing a lot of hunger and maybe even dissatisfaction, because you're hungry for something, for more. So you go and even become a bit immoral. Rahu is immoral. To achieve whatever house Rahu is running through, to achieve it, we can become immoral or we can become a bit extreme. And initially this can ruffle up the status quo. It can upset people that are not, you know, around us, that are not used to see us act in such ways. And the 11th house is a house of financial gainfulness. So we become financially, when Libra from May onwards, maybe not immediately from May, but in the course of the next year and a half, many Libras will notice themselves, Libra ascendant people, Libra sun or moon, will notice themselves becoming more voracious in regards to acquiring new sources of financial gain. 11th house is rewards, gains. If you've worked on something, if you because the 11th house is the second from the 10th. If this is the 10th, is our worldly activities, our career, the things that we perform physically. And the 11th house is like the second from the 10th, so it gives the results, the rewards of that. And Rahu loves being the 11th house. This is its favorite house because Rahu is very ambitious, very driven, and the 11th house is social climbing as well. The 11th house is, Rahu, when it transits the 11th house, can give you a frog jump, because Rahu can, because of this increased ambition, can give you a frog jump into the field of the house it's traveling, like fast trampoline effect. And that's kind of in the social, 11th house rules society, groups and organizations. So maybe it can give you a fast track position in some group or club or organization that can introduce you to economically financial relationships as well. 11th house rules own networks, societies, groups, you know, so people have noticed themselves when Rahu transits the 11th house, they, you know, it's been observed that they can become honorable member of some society. They can gain access to some club. They can gain access to a new group of friends that are very different. Rahu means different, foreign, unusual. You can like change your social circle and break the mold from before, like meet many foreign people, for example, or make friendships and connect with people from around the world that are foreign, that are different, that are from very different and interesting, very ethnically different, or very culturally or socially different. They might be from a higher material social class, or from one that's very different than yours, which can open doors for your financial success as well. And those relationships, like kind of friendships, are intensified, and the desire to create friendships and to network with people internationally on a larger scale increases. So we can gain friends, or we can gain, and it's not necessarily that those are our most loyal friends, but we expand our social circle when Rahu is in the 11th house. I can give you an example. I've never been a member of any group or organization, and when Rahu transits in my 11th house, I became a member of 3 such groups without even wanting. It's kind of almost pushed me there, and the life, you know. And also I started networking a lot with people around the world for astrology. I started cooperating with many people. So with groups, activities with groups of people can grow a lot. You can benefit a lot. Social activities or activities connected to something humanitarian or social action. Say, I've seen people get involved in social activities of some sort, in political activities, become politically much more, because 11th house rules society overall, and where is society going? And Rahu becomes voracious to become part, to get involved with social change, to get involved with big movements of any sort. That's another thing you can notice. And if your career involves any of those things, working with groups of people, social change of any sort, humanitarian activities of any sort, also working in internet, 11th house rules any systems and networks. Internet is a system and network. Also working with institutions that are spread throughout the world, their networks, you know. If you're working in some systems operators as well, these are networks. If you're working anything electronic, technological, scientific, systematic as well, you can have great progress there. Also, if you're trying to achieve some title or honor, which is again, Rahu can help you over the next 1.5 years. It's not Rahu that helps you. Your desire to achieve that becomes more intensified. And so your energy changes and you attract the right material opportunities for that. So titles, honors, graduations, diplomas, or titles like PhD or something. You know, one of my best friends had Rahu in her 11th house last year, and she got her PhD. This is an honor, a recognition. Also, gainfulness, you find and you become voracious for new sources of gainfulness materially. I remember I started making a bit more money, quite a bit more money, when Rahu was in my 11th house, thanks to networking with others, thanks to friends and benefactors. The 11th house rules friends and benefactors who kind of reached out to me, and I reached out to them as well, and that raised gainfulness and popularity as well. 11th house is connected to popularity overall, you know, the big masses. So people that work in all those industries that are connected to popularity, that are connected to big groups of people, that are connected to systems, to big or lateral organizations, they can, Rahu will grow will grow and expand those spheres of their life. What else? Socials, climbing socially, that's another thing. Just becoming more social overall, more well connected, that's the 11th house. And your goals and dreams, but these are especially material goals and dreams that we have. Ones that we want to climb the social ladder with, that we want recognition for. 11th house is recognition, being there in the public eye, people clapping and saying, well done. It's not something that you do for your own personal satisfaction, like a hobby, which is the 5th house, which gives you like a sense of fulfillment, this inner glow in the tummy. No, this is like the good car, the glamorous, like the bonus you want to receive, the title, the pat on the shoulder, the public recognition, and saying this, all those things that the public gives you appreciation for, by money, by diploma, whatever it is, recognition. These are the 11th house things, and you will be able to make some kind of a frog jump there. And these are our long-term goals and dreams and wishes, that we can become much more expedient. We'll do anything. With Rahu, the end excuses the means, whatever it is, exclude the end. No, sorry. The end excuses the means. So you want to get there no matter what. You're willing to take risks, to do even kind of shady things and taboo things. But this is what, and not necessarily something criminal, but something that is taboo breaking that you haven't done before. And taking risks is Rahu's nature, taking risks because of a passion. And to get to fulfill that goal of yours. Okay, and then we have Ketu in the 5th house. You have Ketu in the 5th house starting from May. 5th house, first of all, is children. And whatever Ketu is, Ketu says you're out of control, mate. Whatever you're trying to do, it's not, you have to let go and let God. You have to be open for some chaos, and you have to be open for things not to go as planned. Because Ketu is where God wants us to release personal, Ketu is the tail of the dragon. The tail has no mind, has no directive force, and it's kind of headless, and it's kind of, what it means is excretes as well. That's where the excrements come from. So the tail of the dragon is where we have to let go, where the more we try to control things, the more powerless we become, or the more things get out of our control. So 5th house might be our children. So you're learning, the best strategy you have is with your children is to let go and to allow things to take their own shape wherever fate takes you, and for you to respond to it, and to release certain attachments and beliefs about how you should treat your children or how the relationship with your children should be. That's one thing. So sometimes I've seen people with this position, their children leave the nest. Ketu is about releasing, so they go to live on their own during this period. So you feel like some kind of sense of loss, and that you have to let go of something. Oh, they change a lot in such a way that sometimes children can become themselves more apathetic, or in a sense less controllable, and more demotivated, because Rahu is demotivated in a sense, and no matter how much you try to fix things and change, just you have to release control there. You have to trust the process, to release certain mental attachments of how things should be. Or fifth house is our love affairs and matters of the heart. How do we give and receive love? And often during this period, one is asked to release certain unhealthy or certain attachments that romantic attachments that are, you know, and sometimes the good thing is that it can happen naturally, because Ketu drains the excitability of the house it is in, so we can naturally kind of detach in that house. Or there can be a sense of abandonment and loss as well in regards to some love affair and romantic experience that you have to leave behind, because, you know, Ketu needs to excrete. And the more you try to, it doesn't mean all of you will break up if you're dating someone, or if you're married. This is the romantic part of the relationship. It can feel a little bit drained. It can feel a little bit that it's, you know, you're focused more on economic goals, you're focused more on social goals here, on gainfulness, on being out and about, rather than, and the romantic part of our relationships can sometimes drain there when Ketu is in the fifth house, because maybe because you have to put attention somewhere else, but it's just temporary, you know. And there is the need to release also attachments in regards to how you imagine your romantic love life to be. I remember when Ketu was in my fifth house, someone left me that I was in love with, and that was good actually. And then I focused on making money. And I made lots of money. But anyway, that's, you know, you always see the positive, the green, always see the positive of something. That's what helped me get through my life. And I've had, when I think about it, quite a tough life, but in my mind it's been good because I've always seen the positive, what comes out of it. Fifth house is also creative intelligence. It's also creative projects. So you might not have enough time, or you might become indifferent towards certain hobbies or towards amusements, entertainment, maybe because you're so focused here on creating more gainfulness in your life, more social recognition of some sort as well. But it's kind of almost like the fun, the fifth house, things that we do for our own pleasure, whether it's going to the cinema, whether it's doing some hobby, whether it's writing music, you know, or listening to all those musics, whether it's going on dates. It's almost like you don't have much control over those things, and you have to release some of them. Maybe some old hobbies will get you become indifferent towards them. Maybe you won't get as much pleasure out of those old hobbies or those old dating partners. And also, if you want to have good relationships, I mean, romantically speaking, it doesn't mean your relationships won't go well, because the seventh house is actually a relationship. Fifth house is how in love you feel romantically satisfied, basically. And when Ketu is there, you can have more romantic experience on a more spiritual level, because Ketu is more spiritual influence. Remember, Rahu is quite material, grasping. Ketu is like, even in your romantic relationships, you might have to release control, how you receive and give love, and allow the layers to shift on their own, the higher power to, you know, if you're trying to control some romantic expression and trying to make your partner be more romantic, or your partner be more expressive and affectionate, no, you have to allow things to happen on their own, and there'll be more, the love that can be more one that is from a more spiritual perspective, one that is from a more detached somehow as the observer perspective. And then, yeah, so that's about it, guys. I'm probably missing a lot of things, but yeah, if you're a teacher, fifth house is your students, you might have to release some students, let them go. If you're creative artist, you might find yourself that the creative flow is not so easy to regulate, and that it's kind of miss and hit, and that you have to abandon it to come in. You have to abandon yourself trying to control this creative process and allow it to come in waves. Whenever it comes, you can't control things. The more you try to control them, the more the more Ketu surprises us. So anyway, thank you so much, Libra, and I will see you next month.